Coming up today on That LTD Life, has the WordPress drama got you wondering if the grass is greener on the other side? Well, you're in the right spot because today we're checking out Brizy Cloud, a full-on hosted website builder. You can build multiple page websites, landing pages, there's even a CMS if you want to do some blogging. And heck, there's AI under the hood if you needed a little help in a pinch. We'll be checking out all of these features and a little bit more throughout this video, so you can decide whether or not Brizy Cloud is a good fit for your business website, or maybe a website you want to build and sell to clients. Now, I'm going to be using this $59 one-time payment from AppSumo that gives me 5 websites, but if you want more than that, you can buy multiple codes. You can get up to 10 codes, and you'll get 5 more websites for every single code that you buy. So 50 codes for under $600, that's a pretty good deal. Remember, there's not going to be any ongoing expenses with this. It's a one-time payment, and you don't need any hosting. Before we get started building out a website on Brizy, I do want to mention that today's video is sponsored by my friends over at AppSumo. AppSumo is my favorite place to buy software online. I hate monthly recurring expenses, so I always check there to see if there's a good tool before subscribing to one of those monthly fees. I recommend you do the same with the link in the description. And yeah, even if you've already bought on AppSumo or you're an AppSumo Plus member, you can still use that code and I'll get credit. Thanks to everybody who is clicking those links. It really means a lot and helps keep this channel going. Okay, so here is the Brizy interface. Now, before we get started, I want to clear things up because Brizy actually started off as a WordPress page builder, but a few years ago, they switched over to a software as a service option. The WordPress plugin still exists, but today we're focused on the software as a service. So I've got a fresh account here, and the way things work on Brizy is pretty simple. We've got our workspaces. So right now I'm in a workspace called My Personal Projects. It was just created for me by default when I created my account. But I can add a new workspace here. Let's say I wanted to build a website for a client. I could do so. I'm going to say pizza shop here. We're going to build out a website for a pizza shop. I'll press return. And now I've got my second workspace. Now, what's cool about this workspace setup is now you can have users on one workspace that can't see the websites on another workspace. So for example, this is my personal projects workspace. I'll add a website here, and I'm going to start from a template. There's a ton of great templates to choose from. I will say that I think Brizy's strong point is their templates. They are very nicely designed. They put a lot of effort into making their websites really, really appealing looking. So I'm going to choose this music tutor template. I can preview it right here. There is mobile responsiveness at the top, so we're looking at the desktop version right now. I can switch over to tablet view and I get a nice little mock-up of a tablet as I keep scrolling. And there is also mobile phone. Here it turns into a nice little testimonial slider. I can keep on scrolling. Everything looks really, really nicely done. I like it a lot, so I'm going to choose this template. So now I'm just going to click start with this design. And it says creating your project. Wait a few seconds to complete the process. Little loading animation. And here we are. I'm inside of the Brizy editor where I could customize this with my own branding, my own images, and make it be exactly what I want. Now, I'm going to get more into the editor later on, but I want to point out that this editor is excellent. Brizy's always had a great WYSIWYG interface. So this is all inline editing here. I could change this from unleash to unravel, whatever you want to do, and it just shows up right on the page. Of course, there are a ton more editing features. This is a completely no-code website builder, and we'll get into more of that later on. But for now, I'm just going to choose update. I'm going to save my unravel word change here. My website is now updating. And I'm just going to choose this little icon down at the bottom and then go back to the dashboard. Okay, so I've got my website here. I'm just going to call it Dave's Music Lessons. And remember, this website is living in my personal projects. So now I'm going to jump over to the pizza shop where I've got a new client. I'm going to design a pizza website for them. Now, remember, they can't see the Dave's Music Lesson website at all. I could add in new members right up here. You can see there's only one member to this workspace. So I'll click on this and I can simply invite additional team members. The roles available for new team members can be viewer, editor, designer, and manager. Managers will have full access to the dashboard and can create new projects. Designers can access the projects and change anything inside of the websites, but they can't create new projects. Editors can only access the website and change the content, so the images and the words, but they can't change the overall layout. And viewers can just see the projects and can't make any edits at all. And every website comes with its own workspace. So you could have one website per workspace, or you could bundle them all together in a single workspace, whatever makes the most sense for you. All right, so I'm going to get started by building out this pizza website. I'm going to use AI to do it. So let's go ahead and create a new project here. I'll just hit the plus button. Brizy is capable of things other than websites, by the way. There's a full pop-up system as well as stories like you might see on social media. For now, I'm going to be sticking with websites, so let's go ahead and hit create. Last time I started with a template, but this time I'm going to use generative AI. Now, I want to point out that if you're a purist and you've got some web design chops, you might want to start out from scratch, and that is definitely an option as well. But let's go ahead and check out the generative AI. Click generate. Next, it asks me to enter a business name or find it on Google. This is amazing for existing businesses that want to either redesign their website or get a website for the very first time. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab a local pizza place that we like to frequent here called Detello's. Now, this is a mom and pop shop in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, so they have a website, but let's go ahead and see what Brizy can do for them with just a single click. So I'm going to click build website, and it's thinking. And there we go. It is now building the website. I didn't have to do a prompt or enter anything because it was able to read the Google listing. All right, here we go. It says, savor authentic Italian delights at Detello's. Indulge in authentic Italian flavors at Detello's Pizza and Pasta in Eden Prairie. Got everything perfect there. The copy is actually not half bad. Let's check out the different sections. We've got unforgettable pizza and pasta at Detello's, a little image of the dining area. Then we've got an image of some food here. Now, I would definitely update these photos. I think they might be generated by AI, like they're not pulling them from Google. That would be amazing if it did that. But yeah, definitely would update these to make them maybe a little bit more appetizing. This just looks a little sad, like, no one's eating there. Then we've got our services down here. We've got thin crust pizza, deep dish delight, and mouth-watering pasta. That is all accurate, by the way. They do have thin crust, deep dish, and really good pasta. So very impressed. Delicious Italian cuisine awaits at Detello's. And then we've got garlic toast, dine-in experience, takeout options, and delivery service. Some kind of a funky graphic here. I'm not sure what's going on with that. All right, they got beer, wine, family-friendly, and casual gatherings. That is accurate. However, right here, we got someone sliding a pizza into a wood-fired oven. They don't have wood-fired ovens. It looks like they're wearing a mask too, so maybe just a little bit dated in terms of the photography. Again, I would just update these with our own photos, if I were actually doing this as work for a client. A little image carousel down here. Looks like it's just using the same image over and over again. And then we got a testimonial section. It looks like the images for the testimonial are a little bit wonky. They're quite distorted here, but otherwise it looks good. We've got a call to action to subscribe to the newsletter, a map. The map is accurate. That's actually where they're located. And then we've got another form here for like a contact form to, potentially reserve a table or something like that. And I just looked at their actual website and I can confirm that they got the phone number right. I mean, look at their actual website. It has broken links right here and it's using Genesis. So maybe they're running into some WordPress trouble. The only thing it didn't get correct here is an email address. I don't know if they even have an email address on their website, but there's one in the template. So it just has like a placeholder here. This is all stuff that's very easy to update. So let's figure it out and start editing. I'm going to choose edit and publish with Brizy. And here we go, we're off and running. Now, I could start editing the website straight away. Let's say I wanted to change like this image right here. Very easy to do so. First of all, one thing I like about Brizy is they have these nice handlebars, so I can actually resize the image by just dragging it around, and I can see right away on the screen how it's actually being changed. And if I wanted to move the image to another place, like let's say I wanted to put the image between the headline and this subheadline, I could just grab this little handlebar right here, and then I get the little dropper indicator, this long bar. So just drop it in, and there we go. Now, Brizy was smart enough to know that there was no content in that other column, so everything's been collapsed down to a single column here. Now, I think I would like to center up this text, so I'm just going to do so here. Looks pretty good. I think I'd like to make this a little bit more bold, so I'm going to click on the typography option. I'll change this to an H2. I think that's more appropriate. That automatically made it a little bit bigger, but I'm also going to update the weight to be semi-bold. Okay, now we got to do something about this image. It looks kind of depressing. To swap it out for a new image, I'll just click on it, and then I'll go to this little picture icon here, and I can remove it by just clicking on the X. I'm going to grab some photos off of their Google reviews. Now, this is actually not kosher. You shouldn't do this if you're building a real website. You should always get those from the client, but let's pretend like the client provided this. I'm going to grab this nice image of their exterior. I've downloaded this, and let's upload it over to Brizy. Okay, so here's our page. We've got the old image deleted. I'm just going to click right here to upload a new one. Now, this is added to my media library, just like you would see on something like WordPress. I'm going to go ahead and choose this, and I'll insert the file. Okay, so this looks really good, but one thing you'll notice is it's cut off the top of the photo. One thing I really like about Brizy is that on every image, we have this little blue dot, And where you move that around, that is actually where the image is displayed. So it's very easy for me to just move this up a little bit, and now I can see all of their signage. All right, so I just went ahead and I made this subtext a little bit bigger and I aligned everything in the center. The next thing I want to do is update the text on this button. So right now it says learn more, but what I actually want people to do is order, right? So I'm going to change this button to be order now. And now I want them to actually call to order. That's how Detello's takes their orders. So I can simply change the link for this button by clicking right here. And obviously I could link it over to anything, but I'm going to use the telephone hyperlink. The options for links, by the way, are pages, so other pages on your website, blocks, so other sections on your page for something like smooth scrolling. We could have pop-ups be displayed. If you wanted to build a pop-up and then have a modal, you could do that. There's a file option, so you could have downloadable files. But what I want to do is choose the URL option, and I'm simply going to type in TEL for telephone, and then I'll paste in their phone number. Okay, so you're starting to see some of the simplicity and beauty behind the Brizy builder. But what if you don't like the overall style that was generated by AI? Is there any way to change everything at once? Or are you stuck going through like a chump and changing everything individually? Well, of course we have a style palette. It's this little paintbrush over here. Now, first of all, I wouldn't consider Brizy to be an absolute professional tool for building websites. It's really not geared towards that. It's meant more for business owners or people who just need a website for whatever project they're working on, but their main gig is not web development. So you really won't run into much code here. It's not going to maybe output the most perfect HTML, but it will certainly get the job done and hopefully fill some seats at your business or sell some products if that's what you're trying to do. So right now in the styling tab, you can see that we're using the AI generation. I can click right here and choose any of their other presets. Let's say, I don't know, samurai sounds interesting. I'll choose that, and instantly I've got a new look to the website that actually fits their business quite well. I kind of like this typography. Everything looks pretty good here. Now you could go through and customize this to fit just right. The color palettes are all right here. We can edit the paragraph, the subtitle, the above title, the heading text, everything is accessible. Just click in and you've got all of the customization options right here. Now, let's say I actually wanted the services section to show up before this pizza. How could I move it around? Well, there's an option right here that has all of the blocks, that's what they call them on the page. I can simply find the block that I want and then reorder it. So you can see here, it starts with the header and then we've got the hero section. Here is the section with the pizza. Then this section right here is the one that I want to move down. So I'll just click and drag. And then sure enough, we've got our services up next. Super easy to reorganize things. And while I'm here, you might notice that it says 120 pixels. This is the padding between the sections, right? So it's not margin, it's definitely padding because we can still see the background image. If I wanted to change this, I can just click and drag and make the space smaller or bigger, however I see fit. And of course, you can always insert a new section by just going between the blocks and hitting the plus button. When you click that plus button, you'll see all of the Brizy templates. You can scroll through and find the perfect section for you, and then of course, customize it to fit with your brand. What I want to do on this website is have a section to feature their specials. So I'm going to choose this block right here. It says features, it's got some food in there. I'm going to insert that in, and then I can customize this with that week's sale. Okay, so in this fantasy world, I'm gonna give a special discount on a large thin crust pizza and a pitcher of soda. Now, I noticed that the template has these little icons next to it and they don't really fit for what I'm trying to do. So I'm simply gonna click on it and then I'll choose this star right here and I can pick a new icon. I'll just choose the icon that's there right now, which is like a calendar, and I'm gonna look for something that might be more related to food. Sure enough, there's one for pizza, so I'll grab that to indicate the large pizza, and let's find out if we got one for soda. All right, here's one that looks pretty good. That looks like a soda to me, so I'll put that in there, and now I can just add my price, maybe a coupon code or whatever the business wants, and I'm off and running. Now, if you want to add an element that isn't already there, just go over to the sidebar and choose this plus icon. This will open up all of the elements that are available, such as text, icons, spacers, maps, any of the stuff you've already seen throughout the page. You can simply drag and drop to add onto your website. So I think what I want to do here is add in a 5-star rating right underneath the main headline. I'll drag and drop that in. It starts out at 2.5 stars. Detello's is definitely better than that. So let's go ahead and modify this. I've got a scale here of 0 to 5, or I could go up to 0 to 10 if I prefer. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars, of course. By the way, if you wanted to choose a different icon than stars, you could certainly do that. It's going to bring up that same picker that we just saw a moment ago. So if you're AppSumo, maybe you choose tacos, but we're doing pizza today. Okay, I think this is looking pretty good, but I would like to change the color of the stars. I want to go with more of a gold color. So I'm going to click on the color right here. It's reddish, kind of pinkish. I'm going to go ahead and click on the rating. There's actually 3 components to this. We can have text before the rating. We have the rating itself, which is the icon. And then we have a background color if we'd like that. For now, I'm going to focus on the rating, and I'm just going to choose this gold color, which is part of my template. And there we go. I think that looks really nice. Okay, this is looking pretty good. I want to go ahead and get this website published. I'm going to hit update. We'll go back out to the dashboard. And now here is my Detello's website. There is a URL down here, but it's not a custom URL. So how do we connect up a custom URL? Well, just click on the triple dots, and then you're going to go ahead and click on publish. Now you've got 4 options here. What most people are going to want to do is choose a custom domain, but the other options are to use one of the Brizy subdomains and just make it publicly available, or you could even host it yourself using free third-party hosting or server sync. What most people are going to want to do is the custom domain option, so let's focus on that for this video. I'll simply choose custom domain, enter in the domain that I already own. You will need to purchase this separately over on something like Namecheap or GoDaddy. I recommend Namecheap. That's what I use for my domains. Enter it in here. So we'll pretend this is the company's website. I'll go ahead and hit submit. And then it's simply going to give me some records that I can update over on my DNS register. You'll get an SSL certificate, so you get that little padlock in the browser and everything will look official. All right, so we've already built a very simple one-page business website. But what if we want to add a new page or maybe even start blogging? How does that work? Well, let's go back into Edit Project. Okay, so here's our landing page, but I want to add a new page to this website. So I'm going to click right up here on the first option, the hamburger icon. When I click on this, I can now see the assets that are available on this website. I've got pages, posts, stories, pop-ups, and users that are added right here. I can also add custom assets or check out the media library. For now, I just want to add a new page. So I'm on pages and I'll just click add new page right here. I'll give the page a title. All right, so I've added a page title, set my slug, so the URL that the page is going to be located at. I could add a page description, and then I'm ready to go. I could publish the page when I'm ready. Right now it's in draft mode because it's brand new, so it won't be live on the website, but I could set it to be published if I'd like, and then just hit edit, and I'll be up inside of the editor, just like we saw before, and we can begin building out that page. Now, the same thing works for posts. So you can simply go down here to posts. We can create a new blog post right here. I'll just hit add new post. I'll give that post a title, add a slug, and then maybe add a featured image. That's always important for blog posts. So if they show up in something like a content slider or something like that, a query loop, you'll have a featured image, add in the post excerpt right here, and you'll be off and running. Of course, you can organize your content as well. There are categories available. You can simply add a category right over here. I've added a title, a slug, a featured image. I'm going to add this to the blog category, and let's go ahead and hit save changes. And now we can begin editing our post. Now, one really nice thing about Brizy, it doesn't matter if you're on pages or a post, but a lot of the features that you might have to use plugins for on other platforms are built right in. For example, translation. You can add a translation for every single page and post, by the way. There's also SEO data, so you don't need a special plugin to add things like the metadata and description for each page on your website. Same goes for social. You can add social sharing images in right here on this social tab. Want to inject some code on your website? There is a code option right over here. You can add custom CSS, inject code into the header, or inject code into the footer. All right, so there is so much to Brizy Cloud. I could honestly make an entire course on building a business website on Brizy, but we need to wrap things up at some point here, so let's move on to my final thoughts. Before I do so, I want to remind you that if you've made it this far in the video, you've probably liked it, so consider clicking that like button and get subscribed so you don't miss more LTD reviews like this one. All right, so what do I think of Brizy Cloud? Well, I love this platform. I've been using it for a very long time. I'm a big fan of everything that they do. I'm honestly surprised to see them back at AppSumo. So if you've never heard of Brizy before, make sure you jump on this deal. And if you already have some codes, maybe you want to stack some more in order to sell some client websites. I think it's a great opportunity to spread your wings and move into some other platforms. I'm not saying you need to abandon anything, but maybe you want to try some things out here or there if you've been kind of having all of your eggs in one basket, so to speak. Now, there are some things you just can't do on Brizy, so consider that if you're considering moving over from another platform. Like, there's no native e-commerce built in, so you'd have to find a way around that. But these are all solvable problems. There's definitely ways to get around almost everything in terms of buying lifetime deals and embedding things and just kind of linking them together. It's certainly possible. So overall, I'd say if you're interested in building a website for your business, but you're not highly technical and you don't want to hire people who are, Brizy is an excellent option. I'm going to give Brizy an 8.3 out of 10. Definitely don't miss this one if you're in the right target market for its offering. That's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you check out clientamp.com, get signed up for the free email newsletter, hit me up with any questions or comments down below, and I'll see you in the next review.